Good morning, students. This is Professor Eknath D. Ahire, Department of Pharmaceutics. This is the motivational quote for the day. Every morning is a new day full of possibilities. So take that every possibilities and make your own success and or make your own dreams comes in it too. So let's start with this beautiful morning and with this beautiful quote. Today we will start with sale of uh, Schedule H and Schedule X drugs. So in that particular case, if Schedule H drug are there and Schedule X drug are there, then uh, what type of guidelines we should follow? Let's see. Drugs specified in Schedule H and X should be sold only on prescription of registered medical practitioner only or the doctors. And in case of Schedule X drugs, the prescription should be in duplicate form and should be retained for 2 years with that particular licensee. The cash or credit bill should bear a signature of customer with his address. Then separate bond and page register should be maintained for supply in which separate sheet should be allotted for each drugs. Then the following particulars should be entered at the time of uh, particular supply of drug. It should be date of supply is there, opening and closing stock of drugs on that day, and relevant bill numbers should be there. Then name of the drug should be there. Its uh, manufacturer's name and batch numbers also should be there. Then name and address of the purchaser, date of prescription, and name and address of the registered medical practitioner or that particular doctor. Then signature of the registered pharmacist under whose supervision supply is made. Then uh, so that particular guidelines should be followed during that particular supply of uh, Schedule H and X drugs. Then the supply of drugs to the medical practitioner and other institution should be preserved for at least 3 years from the date of supply. Then the what are the general licenses? So general licenses uh, are the licenses that are granted to a person who have premises for the business and who have engaged the services of qualified person to to the supervise the sale of drugs and do not uh, and he can do the compounding and the dispensing under that particular registered pharmacist. Okay. And what is meant by restricted licenses? So restricted licenses mean uh, or the that licenses are granted to that particular dealer who do not engage the services of qualified persons. Then next is the classes of drugs prohibited for wholesale. So that under this class mentioned all drugs we can't wholesale under the any type of selling. Then so it contains misbranded, spurious and adulterated drugs and and drugs not of standard quality. Any patent or the proprietary medicine is there. Then any drug which claims to cure or prevent any disease or ailments as described in Schedule J. Then any drug manufactured or imported in contravention to the act. Then drugs whose date of expiry has expired. Drugs intended for supply to the central government health scheme or the government hospital or the institution. Then physician sample and drugs not intended for sale, which are mentioned in that particular schedule or the act. So that particular type of drugs we can't wholesale, or this particular type of drugs are comes under the prohibited for wholesale. Then here is some offenses and the uh, penalties are there. regarding the uh, selling of drugs. If it is not followed, then some offenses related penalties are there. Let's see. Sales, stocking, exhibition of or offer for sale of drugs likely to cause death or grievous hurt as per section 320. If it is there, then it should be applicable as 5 years life imprisonment, 5 years to life imprisonment, and not less than rupees 10,000 fine is there. If it is related to sale, stocking, exhibition of or offer for sale of adulterated drug, then it is applicable as 1 to 3 years of infringement and not less than 5,000 fine on first conviction and 2 to 6 years infringement and not less than rupees 10,000 fine on subsequent conviction. And if sale, stocking, exhibition or offer for sale of spurious drugs are there, then it should be applicable as 3 to 5 years of infringement and not less than uh, rupees 5,000 fine on first conviction and 6 to 10 years infringement and not less than rupees 10,000 fine on subsequent conviction or the second conviction. So these are the some offenses related penalties regarding the sale of drugs or the prohibited sale of drugs. Then next is the sales of drugs in contravention of any other provisions. If it is contravention any of the act's provision, then it should be applicable for 1 to 2 years of infringement and fine on first conviction and 2 to 4 years of infringement and not less than rupees 5,000 fine on subsequent conviction. If failure to keep any type of record or the disclose required information, then it should be applicable as infringement up to 1 year and or fine up to 1,000. It should be applicable. Then, if false warranty given by any type of wholesaler or the dealer or the retailer to the purchaser, then it should be applicable for infringement up to 1 year or fine up to 5,000 on first conviction and 2 years of infringement or fine for or both on the subsequent conviction. Next is the use of government analyst report or the CDL report for the advertising. If it is there, then it is applicable for fine up to 500 on the first conviction and infringement up to 10 years or fine or both on subsequent conviction or the second time conviction. Then so this was all about the manufacturing and selling of that particular drugs and related guidelines and related penalties and offenses. Let's uh, let's move on now. Let's moves toward the labeling part. So prescribed labeling should be there according to that particular act's guideline. If it is not there, then it should be applicable for the particular penalty and infringement also. So let's start with the labeling and the packaging of drug as per Drug and Cosmetic Act 1940. So as per this act, legal requirements for labeling of drugs are as follows. So it should be as per the requirement of Drug and Cosmetic Act. It should contain the name of drug, which is official name and trade name should be there. Then name of the manufacturer and his address along with license number and batch number should be there. Then the potency, standard, grade, dose, etc. expressed as ml in grains or units, etc. Then net contents by the volume, weight or the number, how much is there, it should be mentioned. Then the manufacturing and expiry dates should be there. Uh, Schedule P and C drugs only in that uh, cases drugs. It should be mentioned over there. Then precautions for handling, storage, sale, or the usage should be there. Then special instructions may be there, such as for veterinary use, physician sample, etc. Then special labeling should be there, like drug for export or the dispense drug likewise. Next is the for the schedule G drug. If schedule G drugs are there, then it should be there. Caution: it is dangerous to take these preparations except under the medical supervision. So it should be mentioned likewise. For the schedule H drugs, warning should be there to be sold by retail on the prescription of a registered medical practitioners only, and the symbol RX prominently on the left hand top corner of the label should be there. Then symbol in case of the narcotic drugs, NRX prominently on the left hand top corner for narcotic and psychotropic substances. Then next is the if schedule X drugs are there, in that case schedule X drugs warning should be there to be sold on prescription of registered medical practitioner only, and that symbol RX, XRX should be there in red on the top hand hand side of the top corner of that particular label. Then in case of the ophthalmic solutions or the suspension or the ointment, in that case, or the ophthalmic products case, so it should be there, use within 1 month after opening the content, for ophthalmic use only, not for injection. Name and concentration of preservative should be there if used in that particular formulation. Then special instructions regarding storage whenever applicable. So whenever it may be applicable, so it should be proper mentioned over there. Warning: if irritation persists on or increases, discontinue the use and consult the physician. So it should be there like a way. Okay, then do not touch the dropper tip or other dispensing tip to any surface, since this may contaminates the solutions, because it is very prone to and microbial or the microbes. Then if it is related to the veterinary drugs, then it should be properly mentioned over there, not for human use, for animal treatment only, or head of any domestic animal. Okay, so likewise warnings or the likewise labeling should be there. Then the packaging of the drugs specified in schedule X. The drugs specified in schedule X can be marketed in packing not exceeding, so it should be properly mentioned over there, not exceeding, likewise 100 unit per dosage in case of tablet or the capsule. Then 300 ml in case of the liquid preparations, or 5 ml in case of the injection. So it should be properly mentioned over there in case of the schedule X, or the if schedule X is, or the if schedule X products are there. Then this is the one of example for the label purpose. So for 10 ml vial of insulin, 80 units per cc likewise should be mentioned over there. So you can see on the right hand side label is there. So RX should be mentioned over there likewise. Then your product name should be there with their quantity, insulin 80 units per cc likewise. Then drugs schedule is there, schedule G drug. Okay, then caution should be there. So you can read here the caution: it is uh, dangerous to take this preparation except under medical supervision only. Okay, then manufacturing license number is there, batch number is there, manufacturing date is there, and last one most important is your manufacturer name or the detail of manufacturers. Okay, so whatever pharmaceutical industry or company is there, so it should be maintained, uh, mentioned with their detailed information with address. Then labeling of the cosmetics. If cosmetics are there, in that case on both inner and outer label it should indicate that name of that particular cosmetic. Then the name and address of that particular manufacturer should be mentioned over there on the inner as well as outer label also. On the outer label it should be indicate the net content of the package. Then such such a statement need not appear on the label if the net content does not exceed 600 ml to 30 grams. Okay, then on the inner label it should indicate the proper direction of safe use, warning, caution, or the special direction, and the names and the contents of the ingredients that are poisonous or the hazardous. Then the label in the addition should be there. It may be indicate the batch number only if the content of the cosmetic is more than 100 grams, 10 grams or the 25 ml. In case of the soap, instead of batch number, the month and year of the manufacturing of soap shall be given on the label. Then the manufacturing license number, then it should be preceded by letter M. So first of all, letter M should be there for that manufacturing license number purpose. If the package or the container of the cosmetic has only one label, it should contain all the information required to be shown on the top, inner or outer label. These are the some cosmetic products are there with their proper labeling is there. Okay, so likewise labeling should be there. Then here are the some uh, labeling conditions for the hair dyes. If hair dyes are there, then hair dyes containing coal tar colored should label. So anything label is there, so it should be mentioned properly over there. Then it may contain caution should be there. This product contains ingredient which may cause skin irritation in certain cases, and so a preliminary test according to direction should be first be made. Then the product should not be used for dyeing of eyelashes or the eyebrows, as such as use may cause blindness also. So likewise caution should be properly mentioned over there in case of the hair dyes labeling. This is the one of hair dye product is there with their labeling. You can read it properly and wisely. Then next is the labeling of toothpaste containing fluoride. So fluoride content in both paste shall not be more than 1000 ppm, and the content of fluoride in terms of ppm shall be mentioned on the tube and cartons also. So date of expiry shall be mentioned on the tube and cartons also. So uh, it should be date of expiry over there on that carton, and as well as that particular fluoride content. Uh, if fluoride content toothpaste is there, then it should be mentioned properly over there, that particular content of the fluoride in that particular paste. So uh, up to this the our drug and cosmetic act 1940 and rules 1945 and its amendments are ended over here. So I declared this uh, particular topic is ended over there. With this we will take a leave for the day. We will discuss remaining part of syllabus in a next lecture. uh, Now then, thank you so much for being here. Thank you.